Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Agnelina. I'm Lithuanian, currently living in Norway, in Trondheim, and around this time of the year the sun rises at 10 o'clock, it sets at 2:30, so it was overcasted, really cloudy, gloomy day with a little bit of snow and rain, and I thought that it won't get lighter, but now I can see some blue sky. Wow, it's a win. So maybe it will be now a beautiful day. And I hope this lighting in the studio will be decent because this is the last knitting podcast of the year and I have a lot to talk about. I tried to film this video last week, but I didn't plug in microphone correctly, so there is no sound, only static noises. And yep, we are not here for that, so today hopefully everything will go smoothly. Tomorrow I'm flying back to Lithuania to meet my family for Christmas. It is December 14th today, and I think it was 5 weeks since the last time I filmed, so I have a lot to show, a lot to talk, and so hopefully you will enjoy this one. So let's begin with my gift knittings. And one of the things I showed was this sweater, and I think it was mostly only color left, maybe some body ribbing or binding off was left, so not much left to knit. But after the last episode I had maybe, I think it was less than a week left until my boyfriend's birthday when I wanted to give it to him. So I finished, and after his birthday we were flying to Madeira in 2 days, so I managed to finish it before the trip, but it was still wet and blocking when I finished. But when we come back and he finally was able to wear the sweater, he quite loved it, and he was wearing even in bed. Like a really homey sweater, so it filled already. This yarn is Viking Garn, Viking wool, 100% non-superwash merino wool. I am waiting, planning to buy a comb and just comb it because it's not a problem, especially in the stocknet. It should be so easy to depil it. But my only depiller is really for those small bubbles, electric one, so it won't catch those bigger ones. So I just needed to shave it. And I heard that people with shaving like body shaver sometimes damages the yarn and can get some cuts. So yeah, I am not done that yet, but yeah, I think it's beautiful color, he really enjoys. And since I was not knitting for myself, but I was hoping that this yarn will be soft, and when I got it, it's not super wash, but I felt like, oh, this is really nice, not scratchy. And I didn't ask him enough, test it enough if it is soft for him and he can also wear it. So then I first time finished it with a bit tighter collar. I usually don't add elastic, or I didn't ever add it. So I was thinking, oh, if you don't pick up too many stitches, then it should lay snugger around the neck and it should not flap over. But it was cinching in too much, and it was getting in the bag too bubbly, and I gave it try it on to see how it looks on the body, will the stitches relax or I need to repick it. So when he tried it, then he said that it's a bit scratchy around his neck and maybe arms, because he's usually wearing simple t-shirts like this underneath his sweaters. And that scared me a lot. So when I was finishing for the second time the collar, I had idea I had before. So the last year I was knitting tube hats, and I made inner layers for those hats from I think it was also Viking Garn cotton bamboo blend, 50% bamboo for 50% cotton, and it was really nicely to the touch, really soft. So I had a little bit of leftovers for the blue yarn and a bit more leftovers. No, this was not leftover, this was the new yarn I bought, probably too much. So I just started the new ball for a few rounds of that yarn, since I think other leftovers were really bright and maybe a bit shining through. And I really enjoy that I had some blue color for, even if it is not the perfect blue color, so it is a bit not, color match, but when you wear it, it doesn't matter, and that dark gray never shows up. So it's not, yeah, so when you wear it, you cannot see it. This was my improvisational sweater. I got the gauge, what was written on the ball with the, I think, recommended needle size for this yarn. I done contiguous construction, so I was at first knitting flat while shaping neckline, back and forth, 2 stitches to form, the shoulder seam and increasing around it, and then increasing for the arm and knitting in the round. I really love this construction. With this sweater, I also noticed, maybe I will put it on. I believe that this sweater really fits well my boyfriend and me, color-wise at least. I hope that microphone will be all right. Should I keep it more hidden? Is it okay? Well, editing me would be really mad if now I ruined my sound, but I hope it will be fine. So as you can see, but yeah, even sleeves are quite nice. He has a bit tighter bust measurement, but my waist measurement is way lower, and I don't, probably when I'm sitting like this, you cannot see, but at least for my body, I don't like knitting body straight, so I wouldn't steal his sweater that much, but it was really nice sometimes put it on because it's really nice, and for me it's soft. Because yeah, it is maybe 20 centimeters difference or 8 inches around my bust and waist measurement, so all the clothes gets baggy here, and I don't like it, so this is almost always for my clothing. I try to include body shaping, but it was also relaxing for him just to knit the body straight. And at the same time, yeah, I think different dye lots, I had different dye lots, was making it more stressful and maybe not as boring because it will be not enough yarn. So that kept the interest going. And yeah, I need to remember that we are with different dye lots, but when I remember, I think I can see that this is the line where I switched for the sleeves. Here it is. And on the body, yeah, you also can see that this was the switch. But otherwise, while wearing and not thinking that there were different dye lots, it is easy not to notice. So I'm not as unhappy with it. Okay, I shouldn't start pilling game because I think I would be losing with doing it by hands. So I think it's really beautiful, nice color. So when I finished the color in that nicer yarn, totally not scratchy, plant-based, there were still arms left to be discussed if they are too scratchy or not. As I said, he wore it a lot, so that means that it's not scratchy too much. And I was thinking that, oh, if they are too scratchy, probably I will buy him a long sleeve t-shirt to wear with this sweater because I work so hard and yeah, I cannot fix it that much. But when I was washing it, I also added a little bit of my hair conditioning. I have now using bar shampoo and bar conditioner, and I don't like bar conditioner that much, so I think it would be easier if you can just pour something in. And it was just, I was trying to like with the soap bar, like soap it up, just with water and washing it, trying to get this consistency into the water. But overall, either arms are not as scratchy or it helped. And with the wear, usually wool picks up a little bit of body, maybe oils, and it softens up. So if it is just tiny bit scratchy, with wear it could be that you cannot feel anymore. And if it is a lot of scratchy, of course, you won't be able to wear it. But yeah, this was a big hit. As I said, he was wearing it. I think first week he almost never took it off. Almost to the work, to the whole day, evening in the house, non-stop wearing it. And now I think he's switching up with the last sweater I knitted, and he really appreciates it. So I'm happy that I knitted him the sweater. The only thing I need is just this D-pillar combo thingy, because this knot doesn't look that nice when it pills. Okay, again, I shouldn't start pill picking game. By September, I decided that I want to do 3 big gift knits, so this one of them. One of them I finished up before, and this was the last one to finish. And this is Baby Bear Suit by Knitting for Olive, Pernille Larsen, I think the designer's name. This one is already washed and blocked and dry. I think with this yarn became a bit more flowy after the wash. I think it was a bit more maybe structured before, or the hood was a bit more stable. So yeah, my first and third gifts, let's say, were these 2 baby bear suits for 2 babies. My both cousins I grew up with became parents this year, and one of the babies will be this winter season, or is from 6 to 9 months, and another one is from 9 to 12 months in the winter season. So I knitted, I think it is 6 and 1 month, and I decided that the younger baby was growing really fastly and not, 6 weeks starting wearing 3 months clothing or something like that. So I was just, okay, 1-year-old size, 1-year-old size should be fine. But I was too stressed out of knitting leg shaping, so I just made a cuff, which means that if it is too long, you could just roll up, and if it becomes a bit shorter, it's maybe with socks, it's still okay. So it's not as dependable of leg length as if you knit with immediately with the sock part. At least that was giving me a lot of stress, so I just dumped that idea. I was planning for the smaller one knitted too, but decided not. And I finished the last arm a week ago, so I was just really closely with my gift knitting. So my guesstimation what I can do was quite exact. So I was quite proud of it. And I picked up these lovely buttons which has like small feet on them, and I felt like these buttons like suit the bear thing, and color-wise it was also beautiful. But maybe it is in Norway, maybe it's everywhere. These buttons costed me almost 10 euros, I think, 6 buttons, because 2 packs of them for another suit, and this one was around 200 Norwegian kronas. So maybe it is 18 euros or maybe 9 euros for 6 buttons, which is quite a lot. And it is 1/3 almost of the whole price for the yarn. I think was for one suit around 200 something Norwegian kronas, so 20 euros or something. But I think they were worth it. They were beautiful, and I didn't want to stress out or leave it to the last minute, so now I bought them when I was having time in store, in place. I have them, and I think they're beautiful. And I hope that those suits will be used and loved by kids, that it will be... Yes, the yarn. The yarn is Drops Extra Fine Merino wool. In color, this one is color Misty Forest 37. I'm pretty sure that is Misty Forest 37 colorway. And I think it's really beautiful color. I didn't expect it to love this color as much as I did. And I was so surprised that I love this color. I love knitting with it, as was with this yarn, because it was so nice and fluffy to the touch. So I bought both yarns again. I love this yarn, so I bought I was imagining sleeveless, like a high neck top to knit with this yarn, because I felt like it would look beautiful with my eyes. And I was even thinking about a hat in this color, a hat matching my eyes. I think it would look really lovely, really beautiful. But then I decided that this color is maybe a bit too blue and too dark to really match my eyes. So then since I had already this yarn on hand, I knew how it looks in comparison with my eyes, and body coloring or whatever. I decided to try on another color which I would never ever picked up, and it was this colorway, this was 37, so this is 47. This was Misty Forest. This is mossy green. I don't know. I don't remember actually. their names, because on the balls are just only the numbers written. So yeah, I bought this yarn to make the top, and I bought this yarn to make myself a hat and a scarf. So as you can see, I can move on to another my finished object. I also knitted a hat, and this hat was my travel knitting. I can put it on to show that it looks, I believe, beautiful with my eyes. I don't know, maybe lighting is wrong or bad, so I don't know if it is really showing, but I believe it looks really nice. So when I took this one on my holidays to Madeira, we were in Madeira or traveling from Saturday and we were back on Thursday. 6 days? So 6 days of traveling. So I cast it on Friday evening, just started the crown. Then I went to the airport. I knitted maybe a few rounds more, and then I put my needles and all my knitting into the backpack, and I didn't put them correctly. So these were the needles I was knitting with. And as you can see, one of them is broken. So one needle broke, and I was still on the crown increases. And this was the only holiday knitting, and we were flying on Saturday, so of course I was not expecting to find needles at the airport. And on Sunday I was not expecting any shops to be working. So later on trip, on Monday morning, the first thing I did, I bought a new needle set, and I was able to knit it. But while on the plane and that day, I was knitting with one good needle, so I was, knitting actually, and this one, just dropping stitches through this wasn't that difficult. It was just I was more scared to keep them on the edge, because if they fall out, maybe it wouldn't be as easy to pick up. And for increases, when I needed an extra needle, I was keeping this one also on hand, but it was really fiddly, and this one was on the cord, so it was really uncomfortable for the hand, for the wrist, and it was really slowed down my knitting. And when we flew from Norway, it was around 0 degrees, and when we flew back, it was around -10 degrees. And I didn't take a hat. I had only, headset, to cover my ears, and I was thinking that we are landing around midnight. I want to have a hat to keep my head warm, so then it was like almost a challenge to myself to knit it in that holiday. So on our last layover, I was knitting like crazy, and I managed to do it, but I took this time 3.5mm needles. I knitted this one with 4mm needles, and after blocking it, it grew and it became really like this one, flowy fabric. I thought, oh, it grows maybe, superwash grows more, so I should use maybe a smaller needle size, and that will be all right. And I done this increases, so it still fits my head, but it is a bit too tight. So my Christmas knitting plans is, and this is why it also have this card left, to frog it and knit it with 4mm needles, which is annoying, but at the same time, I just want to really love it. I wanted this hat for myself. I love the idea of it, but when I tried to wear it, I think it prints in the knit pattern into my head. It is just too small. And of course, I could just do one more increase, but it was each 8 increases were 12 stitches, exactly what I used the last time when I was knitting these hats. And I'm improvising. This is the tube hat. I can show you. This is the tube hat, my improvisation. Similar pattern is muscle burr pattern, but they have a different crown increases. And I just wanted to be, I like this more, I don't know, I call it like more sun-shaped. How it grows, because it goes a bit around, and I think they have just cross, for increases. But it's exactly the same hat. I think I don't have that muscle burr hat, but I imagine that it is almost exactly how I knitted this one. And of course, so either I should increase one more stitch, or I could knit with bigger needle size, and I decided to re-knit with bigger needle size, because in one way or another I need to frog either till the first crown or everything. So I decided to just re-knit everything, and I think it would be a really nice hat to have. And then I have 2 extra balls, so I've used 3 balls, so 300 around-ish. meters for this hat, and I have a 2 balls for a small scarf, like Sophie scarf. Since with my winter jacket I feel like it would fit really nicely. Once I knitted a small scarf, but I gifted because it was a really beautiful set and I didn't want to split it. But the scarf was one of the things I wanted the most. So yeah, these are like my Christmas also knitting plans with my finished objects. So let's talk what is on my needles. So one of the things I recently repicked it again, and it will be my also New Year knitting, is cardigan. I put it down. Oh, this is the ball. So I really knitting the cardigan. I knitted now it's almost 2 years or last year. Was it the last year? Yes, I think it was the last year I knitted a cardigan, but I was unhappy with it, so I decided to reknit it, and then I restarted this yoke of maybe 5 times because I was doing things incorrectly, because I was changing things and improvising again. So just a simple raglan sweater with double knitted button band. So as you can see, I'm knitting it immediately together because I really hated picking up stitches, and I really love knitting it that immediately. The only thing I'm really don't enjoying that button placement. You cannot fix if you mess it up, or you need to frog the whole body. So now I'm ready to split for sleeves by my calculations, but I will try it on to see how I like. Do I want to do maybe a few more raglan increases? Does it falls yeah, that's the right place. And then I also want to check when I will put on longer cords the buttons, because the few rounds ago I tried it and it looked like I still have a lot of to do before first button closure. So yeah, I want to check button closure. I'm ready to split for sleeves. But overall it goes nicely. I was really tired because I was restarting and I already knitted the sweater, and it just feels like really unsuccessful knit for me. But I think I will pick it up. I will knit it on because I believe it would be really practical knit to have, black cardigan. It would be fit so nicely into, the wardrobe, to helping in transitional weather, maybe to the office, to wear my dresses when you need a little bit warmer but something else, so you just put it on. So I really want it, and my first one was not what I expected. It was a bit too small, the neckline was too wide, the itself was a bit too small, and it was just I thought that how easy it should be to dress with anything, and apparently it was really hardly I was dressing with anything, because the wide neckline would show sometimes t-shirts edges, and it doesn't look nice, and then it looked strange with multiple necklines, and I'm just no, I want it to be easy. So now it's a bit tighter neckline, and since it was top down, I was not able to fix it, just frogging everything, so I just restarted. I think this was from my leftover yarns, how much I may manage to get, and I think next step when this ball is finished will be frogging, actually, because I still have somewhere the first thing, and this time it looks like it's going nicely, because one of the problems I had was that I when started knitting this double knitted button band, I was not knitting twice on the edge. Since I'm improvising and not following any patterns, I don't know. So it is trial and error, and I knitted almost the whole, I think, body shaping, and this was halfly, so this was really scrunch side, and it just was not looking nice. So now I think it's promising, it's on the good track. So as I said, I picked it up. It's easy knit in a way that it was really long lines, but at the same time for that long line I don't need to think about it when raglan was so long. And now I just need to try it on, see where it is, and maybe split for sleeves, and maybe place the first button and it would be easy. I feel like the fabric is really flowy, and I was thinking maybe I was thinking maybe this is the time for to make first maybe straight sleeves, and maybe I-cord edging would be nice, or really small ribbing, because just to have like, or bell shaped, because it is so flowy. This fabric I think nice, but at the same time maybe more fitted sleeves are better for the office. So a bit unsure for the first one. I tried to do a bit the balloonish sleeves, but I think they didn't turn out well because they were too small. The balloon was too small, the length was too small, and everything around was too small, and I didn't want it, to make it too big. But body shaping, I think, was really nice in this sweater. So I think I still keep the body shaping, but I want to make it slightly bigger, so use it up, this flowiness of the yarn and the fabric. So I think it's nice. And the last thing I started, which is my... I was really itching to knit some cables, to do some more pattern knitting, because as you can see, my last knitting was quite stockinette full. And so this is my swatch. I'm ready to frog it, but I still didn't frog it because I thought, oh, maybe I want, first of all, still have this intact. And second on all, I was, maybe I don't want to start with wrinkly yarn. I can use it a bit later when I have a bit more established pattern. And which is funny because this is the diamond pattern I found these diamond patterns on Pinterest, and then I a bit redesigned it so it is fully symmetrical and close to these diamond two knits cables. You always start with a pearl on the side, so that made to make these two cables go closer to each other, which I still think looks quite nice. And it's so fun that in this watch I have 4 half diamonds and and none full diamond. I didn't saw a full diamond in this yarn, but I believe, yeah, this is beautiful. Oh, and this yarn is, and I forgot, of course, to talk about the last yarn, but the same yarn as this one. And I bought this yarn, and I saw that they have this beautiful red color. I really wanted, so I bought it. Viking yarn, Viking wool. I think it's just color red. I don't remember. In any case, I usually link everything down below, patterns, yarns, and etc. And this yarn is Drops Cotton Merino. Yeah, Cotton Merino, 50% cotton, 50% wool. And it is, I think, like DK weight, but it was a bit smaller, as I remember when I got it. I expected it a fuller yarn, so this is maybe so flowy, because it is a bit smaller than expected, width-wise. But with 4mm needles I'm knitting, and now I was getting those smaller gauges, of course, was on that sweater too. So yeah, this was my swatch, as I said. And I swatched it with 6 and 5mm needles because I didn't order enough yarn. When I was buying the yarn for the sweater, I originally guesstimated 9 balls, but I needed to start from the 10th ball knitting. And when I was buying this yarn, somehow I thought that, I bought, this was, 9 ball knit. So 9 balls should be enough. And I was ordering at the same order the 10th ball for this one. And it's just, why didn't I add the 10th ball for this? Especially with cables, it probably eats more. So this is thinking maybe I should knit with 6mm needles, bigger needle size, a bit looser gauge could be fine. But then I decided it was way easier to me to without cable needle cables, with just 2 needles, most of the needles. This ones I still need to take the cable needle to do cables, but these ones I managed to do it without, so I'm quite proud of it. And I decided that I want saddle shoulder construction similar to this one, but it will be more saddle, not contiguous constructions, I think, because I decided to add this cable motif with 2 stitches on the side shoulder. So this is the going to the shoulder, and then it should grow into the diamond. I decided that I want V-neck, so of course a lot of cabling without V-neck. And then I was thinking that I want my V-neck increases be around these two, like making V increases. So like V would grow with 2 knits and 2 purls, and all other pattern will appear from those 2 purls. So this was the mindfuck. This was quite difficult to design. It was not enough space on my notebooks, on the squared notebooks to paint everything. So I had the tablet, and I have a pen with tablet, so I tried in this and it worked. But of course, at some point I switched, so I needed to restart again. So I know it now by heart, and I re-knitted this one multiple times until I started correctly. And now it's time, I think, to start increasing for sleeves. So switch where I'm increasing and finally finish with this cables and start making diamonds out of them. So the problem is that maybe I started a bit too wide. I was thinking I started like 2 increases, but I could, it's not given that I don't have to start with 2 increases. It can be, I can increase to the second increase, so it can be a bit smaller, because I think I want to try if it is wider or not. And I think my calculations around V-neck shaping is also incorrect, because I start with 1 stitch instead of 4, which are 2 knits and 2 purls. So I start with 1, and then I increased, but my increases also came from the body increases around this part shoulder, from the shoulder increases. So my calculation that this pattern should meet in the middle my increases and be on the right pattern phase where I need to do cables for that one may be incorrect. As I said, this is complicated, because it could be that my V shape would meet, I don't know, here on the widest part. Of the pattern. So if I want to meet here, I needed to like almost count back, and I think I failed. So I want to check it, because I was planning on, I think that it joins on the second one. Maybe if it joins quicker, or I can a bit skip, because I'm increasing every 4th round. So if I can increase, 6th round by the end or something like that, which may or may not be as visible, that I changed increase rate a little bit. So it could help me to reach, I don't know, around this part. So if they meet a bit taller, I have 2 cables. But if it meets, I don't know, where it is going still closing or still opening, it won't look as nice. So I still need to check a lot, and this totally won't be my Lithuanian knitting going back for Christmas. But good thing, after designing it and frogging and started it again, I know it by heart now. I don't need to look into the diagram I painted for myself for this one. I know how cables look like, how to knit, and etc. And yeah. And I was laughing that when I was knitting this sweater, I was thinking, oh, maybe I should try to write a pattern for this one. It's just probably one and only sweater. But I think this pattern will look really nice and really beautiful. Oh, and another thing I was thinking, this is why this is my new round stitch marker. I decided that I want a new round to start here, like it goes here. So this one I'm doing from behind, like to think about it like I am behind half of the step. So when I'm joined, it don't have like, I don't know, instead of in more stitch patterns inside the cables, instead of 2, they won't have 3, for example, knits and 3 purls. It may be not as noticeable, but at the same time, I didn't want the jog be up front when you join the v-neck. I wanted it, seamless, perfect. So I decided here, so this is one more. So yeah, knitting this feels like solving huge equations. It feels like it really mind work. And yeah, I should check where I am in my pattern and see, and on my diagram to see if where my v-neck now would join, because it was not, I didn't think about everything. So either I need to fix it, or I can deal with, continue, and at the same time check, how it would look like on the shoulders, if they are wide enough or not. It's also interesting to put it, so compare with someone, is it too wide or not for the neckline and etc. So yeah, this is my complicated knitting, but I really love how it looks like, and it's really interesting to knit on it. And I really love this yarn color, and I want to have red cable sweater again in my wardrobe. That I knitted red cable sweater as my second ever knit, and I first knit for myself from the pattern, but I really overestimated yarn group, so it was too small. And I gifted it away to my aunt, which is a really petite woman. So she really enjoys, and when she was calling me for not for Christmas, she's calling me to congratulate me with my birthday, so she was wearing that sweater, and she said that it was unintentional, that she just loves it and it wears it. And I decided that but that took me 4 months, as I remember, and it was in panels, and then I sewed them together, and the sleeves were only in moss stitch, and this will be fully cabled. This will be fully cabled. As I said, sleeve saddle cables should go into the diamonds, and of course my pattern repeats, so these diamonds are quite big and this yarn is quite bulky. This is why I also decided to knit a cable sweater in this yarn, because it was with 5mm needles, and I prefer usually knitting with 3 or 4 maybe, and 3, because I really like this delicate textures and etc. But cables with 3mm needles, I was maybe not. Let's practice my cable knitting with 5mm needles, and yeah, I like this yarn. So hopefully I will buy the comb for my future sweater too. And the last thing I almost forgot to show you is this Christmas ball. So after I finished something, I really wanted something strange, something small, and it was I was around the time a lot of Pinterest, so I saw a lot of Christmas balls, decorations, patterns. So I just picked it one up, picked up yarn leftovers I have, and knitted this one up. It's not as Christmassy by color selection, because I didn't had leftover yarns in different colors but the same weight. So this was, I was holding double. This was fingering mohair, I think, because it was thicker yarn a little bit than just, it was not lace weighted, but it was mohair. Angora Deluxe by Yarn Art. This one was 80%, I think, mohair and 20% polyester, I think. I knitted a top from that yarn this year, and this yarn was gifted away from my aunt when she was trying knitting almost 10 years ago. So I already finished the sweater, and those leftovers are really small, so I decided, yeah, it's perfect for like small thing knittings like this. Just try it out. So I was holding it double with, maybe it was even 2.5mm needles. And it was because I wanted it not to be see-through with the stuffing and etc. So it was quite painful to knit such a tight gauge with, you know, thicker yarns. But it was fun. I really liked. Then I wanted the whole collection with this, like, I don't know, do like maybe little foods or cats or whatever, and do the whole collection of them. But of course, Christmas is almost here, and I have only one. But one of my friends were saying that she likes, you know, like original Christmas decorations, one of the, you know, like Christmas gift ideas, and we sort of agree not to exchange gifts. So I think it should still be really nice if I give it to her, because if she doesn't like it, so I almost didn't give her anything, and if she likes it, it's just, you know, good thing. I am not planning to keep this one for myself, just because, I don't know. My plan is to knit similar one, because I found also in those patterns that there's like world map, and I think I have blue and green. I don't know if that contrast is the best leftover yarn, and I believe my boyfriend would really appreciate like globe. But it would be so nice if I also have like white for the bottom for Antarctica. It would be beautiful. But yeah, I may make more of those, but at the same time, I prefer garment making. So I'm not sure, but it was really fun to play with it and knit one. I think in 2 evenings I knit it up, because I was really hyper focused on it. Otherwise, I think it could become a track, and you need to remember and then deal with color work in, you know, small circumference and etc. So it can be tiring too, but it was fun. It was fun. It's beautiful. So hopefully my friend will like it. And I guess that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.